Is there a Google in this business yet? Or do you need a Google, an AOL, a Facebook, a company that everyone says, oh yeah, that's the fintech company?
I think actually the incumbents are terrified about what the big tech brands can do.
Yeah,
and
so
I think
certainly in insurance.
Well, I think actually just broadly, I mean, look at what's going on in China.
What's going on in China?
Well, you've got, Tencent,
Oh, I see.
Alibaba, Alipay, Ant Financial is now a 60 billion, business all on its own. You look at WeChat, does everything. I mean, you can do everything on WeChat. You can get insurance, you can chat to your mum, you can, remit payments. All of the large incumbents are going to fight like hell to make sure that they don't get disintermediated.
Well, they've seen the entertainment experience. They know that
they've seen it.
that they could be destroyed.
They've seen that movie. I think the big tech companies, as we've already talked about, are starting to figure out, Amazon it's in my everyday life, whether I like it or not. It's perfectly positioned to start selling me financial products. Just a question of when. And so I think there's going to be, I don't think the big incumbents are going to go and give up at all. I think it's going to be a fight. I think what they're going to struggle with, though, is an enormous sort of legacy cost structure that is just going to slow them up. And I think that sort of molasses that they're wading around in is going to allow the nimble sort of small teams with modern technology, with domain expertise, to potentially quietly walk around the outside.
Moneyline is a first and foremost personal financial management platform that.
Are you another Gareth investment?
We are.
Might
yes. Thank you. And the way, in speaking specifically about data, when Gareth just touched on it, we are seeing more and more data in our world, in the financial world. People are creating more and more data, and they're having problems kind of understanding how to manage this data. How can we make this data work for them? So our platform is really focused on consuming the data and then spitting back ideas that will form into habits for consumers to manage their finances correctly. So we'll help them with ways to save. We'll help them kind of understand common purchases, things that they may be able to knock out and have ability to save for things like their retirement.
Isn't that a bank? Shouldn't Citibank be doing that?
Well, it's not for me to comment
Trisha is
on.
laughing. I don't know whether it's sadly or ironically.
But we're there for our clients as they need. Millennials in general do not feel like they need to go to a brand name or a bank that they know of, a big name bank, and a lot of us have worked at big name banks in our past. And we see that there are opportunities for these underbanked and people that may not have traditional banking to give them services, and they may come a la carte as an open folio or Moneyline offers, or it might come all together in bigger platforms as we create them and as we evolve.
Citibank have 26,000 people who work in compliance. These guys don't have that tax.
What's the caveat?
The caveat is this: big banks have the cost of credit advantage that
they're taking deposits, which means they take deposits, so their cost of capital is a lot lower than someone like Moneyline.
And so, if you look at risk-weighted analysis at the time of at the time of any sort of financial crunch, banks, small banks, unregulated banks are relying upon private investors, and private investment is going to dry up anytime that there is some sort of financial concerns. If you have the so-called unbanked that are at these smaller institutions, and that private investment dries up, then all of a sudden you have a lot of people who all of a sudden have their loans called in. I think that is a greater risk to the financial system than the banks have currently today. I think that the regulations that have been put in place, once we come to that financial crunch time, will create a greater risk than Dodd-Frank actually is seeking to prevent.
Yeah, no, Trisha does make a sensible point around cost of capital and where capital actually.
But isn't she telling you not what you're doing, but there is the big danger with all this?
No, I think these startups are smart enough they're already diversifying where they get their capital from. So it's not just from private, individuals, it's other institutions as well. These big incumbents, Wells Fargo, whoever, are not going to give up without a fight. I think it's going to be a tremendous.
So this is great stuff. Well, very briefly, this is great. I love it.
So I want to agree with you. I don't think that it
You
should
don't
be-
want to agree with him.
No, I do. I don't think it should be all or nothing. I don't think it should be big banks versus the little guys. I think that there has to be a nice balance, and I think the balance comes. We are getting a lot from the startups. That is exactly what we're doing today. That's